Who should pay on the first date?
Man. Well, I mean, you think in the past when I was growing up, I mean, when I was like, I'm 40 now, and so 20 years ago when I started dating, I didn't really have any money, but the girl didn't have any money either. And but it was always thought like, okay, you have to take her out and you have to pay for it. That was the thought 20 years ago for me, right? It was like what my sisters told me, like, make sure you're a gentleman, make sure you show up, make sure you offer to pay for the hamburger, wherever you're going. That's a 21-year-old or something.
Where are you going,
And
McDonald's?
I was living in St. Louis at the time, and there's a place called Steak and Shake. It's amazing. So like a burger and a milkshake.
The original Shake Shack.
It's exactly.
Yeah.
And so that was the belief. But the more in the last like 5-6 years, I feel like that's shifted some from what I've seen, at least on the internet culture, content on the internet where you see people saying. Now, I don't know if this is the same for everything in like middle America or around the world, but you see the extreme stuff online.
Mm-hmm.
And I see some women saying like the man should always pay on the first date. And then I see other people saying, no, it should be 50-50. And I see others saying, well, if you're just going to be friends, then people pay separately, right? So I think today that this is tricky. Well, this is where it gets awkward. This is where it gets awkward. I'm already like, oh man, what are people going to think and say? But if I'm answering this, that I would like to pay always in the first date if I was dating. Obviously, I'm engaged now, but I would always pay. And that's just coming from a place of, now also, I would only do it if I was choosing the place and I knew how much I was going to spend beforehand. So if some girl was like, oh, I want you to take me to this really expensive place and pay for a $300 dinner, I'd be like, this is already a red flag. Maybe this is just not the right thing. But if someone offers, then I feel like, oh, this person has a thoughtfulness, is genuine, is caring. It's not a me versus them. They need to do something and I'm above this. Mentality. And so I think you want to be aware of that. And when a woman is willing to offer, I think that's really generous and it shows you who they are. Mm-hmm. And if a man doesn't want to pay, it just gives you information and shows you who they are. Yeah. And if that's the type of relationship you want to enter, there's nothing right or wrong with it. It's just knowing where you're at. Yeah. And so it's getting clear on what you want. Yeah. I think what's changed for men and women is, women have changed, I think, from what I've heard, what they want differently from what men want as well. And so it's just getting clear on what type of relationship do you want to enter while you're dating. Yeah. And it's not necessarily a red flag in my mind. It's more of just information. Okay, is this the type of dynamic you want for a dating relationship? Because it's probably going to lead into a longer term relationship, the same style of dynamic. Yeah. It's probably not going to shift later. Yeah. Unless you have those conversations. I don't know. What do you think? It's been what? No, you've been married for what, 10 years now?
No, yeah, but we've been together for 10, married
10
for
years,
7.
yes.
But no, as I'm listening to you, I'm thinking about it. And there's a lot of stuff that came up from me. Like the first thing that came up is I've heard a lot of people say, and this is kind of what you were saying. I've heard a lot of people say that it's who asks the person out that should pay.
And so, who should ask the person out?
That's another question. But it's that idea,
makes
right?
sense. Yeah, if you ask someone out.
It's like what you said. You were like, if I ask someone out and I get to choose the place, then I'm going to offer to pay because I chose the place. Whereas if someone told you to choose the place, or if someone else chose the place and then wanted you to pay for it without you giving them that permission. But I think my take is, and by the way, I was the same as you. I remember as a student going to like Nando's and Pizza Express, which are very British, like, spots. And you're just thinking like, how am I going to pay? Because at that time, like to eat together was about £30.
You're like, how am I going to get this money? Yeah.
That's a lot as a student. You're thinking, how am I going to pay for this? And I remember I was being a tutor on the side. I was working while I was at university as well. And so that was helping me pay for dates. But I look back and think about how much money I wasted on dates. It was crazy. But there's one, I'm with you. I think that I, again, like you, have always opted to pay on dates. And I think I would always choose to do that. But by the way, I just want to add one thing. This is also not just about gender, because you do that with me and I do that with you. Right. So even when we're out on bro dates, you'll always offer to pay and I'll always offer to pay. Yep. And then we usually say, all right, if you get this one, I'll get the next one. Yeah. And I think that's just who we are as people. I don't think that's because I'm trying to impress a woman, or I think that's just how I was raised.
Right.
And that doesn't come
Now,
with
if we were 20 though,
Yeah.
maybe we'd be like, hey, let's split this.
Yeah, yeah,
Let's
yeah.
let's or I would pay for my stuff because
Yeah.
I order more than you and get a lot more food, and you'd probably pay for your stuff. You know, it's
Yeah.
like we'd probably be at a counter, we'd each pay separately type
Yeah.
of thing. So it also depends on like how much money you have and what
Yeah.
season of life you're in, I think, as well.
Yeah. There's one quote that I don't know if this quote is still relevant today, but I'm interested to hear what we think about it. So I heard this quote that says, "A woman's loyalty is tested when the man has nothing,
Mhm.
and a man's loyalty is tested when he has everything."
That's true. I love that quote. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's
think you see this with like Obama, the Obamas, right?
I think
Yeah,
it's either
like,
Obama, and then I've seen it in like people put it with UFC of Conor McGregor because of his story was kind
Yep.
of like
He had
that.
nothing,
I think.
right?
Yeah, he had nothing when he started out.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't know whether the genders apply, but I think it's a fascinating thing.
I think it's a powerful thing. And I think what you see a lot of this conversation around like, I don't know why this is popping up, this kind of high value man, high value woman conversation.
Let's talk
popping
about
up,
that.
right?
Yeah.
You see these different conversations online of women saying, well, I need a man that makes 100 grand, and I need a man that's, I don't know, 6 feet tall or above. And I need a man.
You're winning, man. Lewis, you're the man.
And I need a man that's
out.
this age. And I need a man that can take all the time off in the world and can travel and pay for 5 trips a year anywhere I want to go. And it's like, there's not that many people that actually have that lifestyle and can live up to that every day for the rest of their life. It's a big like expectation to think that. So I think you got to understand where you're meeting someone at your season of life. And also, as you know, a relationship is about how much you give, not how much you expect someone else to give you to make you happy constantly, but how much are you going to consistently show up and serve the relationship consistently. And if you just say, well, me being here is enough value, me being around is a lot, and they should just be happy. I just think that's not the best mindset to approach a healthy, conscious, long-term relationship. And so we got to start thinking about not what can someone give me, but how can I contribute to the relationship?
Yeah.
And how can I meet someone with shared values that thinks the same way? And maybe if they're 24, 25, they don't have as much to give financially, but they can give emotionally, spiritually. They can give me their time. They can show up and be creative with dates, and we have shared values. So we give each other that. We give each other less stress, less conflict. Like that's an amazing gift to give, less stress by having.
Oh my God, that's the biggest one. Yeah.
Because it's like, why be with someone who can pay for everything if all they create is stress and drama? Is that the relationship of your dreams? So we just got to be thinking about what we want. And for many years, I didn't think that way. I thought about who's going to give me the most pleasure, the most fun, who's going to have the best, who am I going to sexually connect with the best? And I didn't think about the other things of peace, harmony, shared values, who's going to be kind to me and my family, and do we have a similar vision? So I think we have to think about those things when we're entering a relationship.
Thank you for watching this video. If you want more inspiring clips like this, make sure to click right here to subscribe and click right here to watch that next video that is specific to support you in your life.